Hello everyone. I hope you're all doing great and excited to learn something new today. If you're someone who wants to speak English fluently, confidently, and naturally, then this is for you. Today, we are going to talk about how to train your mind to think in English. This is one of the most important steps in becoming a fluent English speaker. We all know how frustrating it can be when you have to stop and translate every sentence from your native language to English before speaking. This slows us down, makes us feel less confident, and often leads to mistakes. But imagine if you could skip that translation step and think directly in English from the start. The good news is this is possible, and today I'll show you how. By following 4 simple stages, you can train your brain to think in English. Trust me, this will make a huge difference in how you speak. Now let's get started. The first stage is thinking in verbs. Verbs are action words that tell us what is happening. This is the perfect place to begin because action is happening all around us. For example, if you are walking through Central Park in New York City, you might see people running, talking, or playing. You might notice a dog chasing a ball or someone feeding pigeons. All these actions can be described using verbs: run, talk, chase, feed. Even if you are at home, you can still practice this. Imagine scenarios or use pictures to help you. Look at a photo of a family having a picnic. What are they doing? Maybe they are eating, playing, or relaxing. Practice thinking about these actions and naming them in English. A tip for practice: spend 5 to 10 minutes each day focusing on verbs. Wherever you are, take a moment to observe what is happening around you and think about it in English. This small habit will train your brain to think in English more easily. Now let's move to stage 2, thinking in nouns. Nouns are the names of people, places, things, or ideas. Just like verbs, nouns are everywhere. If you are standing near the famous Sydney Opera House, you can look around and name what you see: the building, the harbour, tourists, a boat, and seagulls. All these are nouns. To practice, name the things you see around you. If you are in a market in Delhi, you might see fruits, vegetables, spices, and vendors. These are all nouns. Even in your room, you can do this. What do you see? Maybe a chair, a book, a laptop, or a window. The more you practice naming these objects in English, the easier it becomes. Here's a practice tip. Spend a few minutes each day naming the objects around you in English. This can be done at home, on the street, or when you are traveling. The goal is to make your brain think of the names of things in English naturally. Once you're comfortable with verbs and nouns, it's time for stage 3, thinking in sentences. Now you will put verbs and nouns together to form simple sentences. Don't worry about making them long or complicated. Start simple. For example, if you're at the beach, you could say, "The children are playing in the sand," or "A man is swimming in the ocean." Imagine you are in a park in Toronto. You might say, "A family is having a picnic," or "The birds are flying in the sky." As you get more confident, you can make longer sentences like, "A group of friends is playing soccer and a couple is walking their dog." Practice thinking in sentences for 10 to 15 minutes each day. Describe your surroundings as if you were telling a story. For example, if you were in a cafe in Rome, you could think, "The waiter is serving coffee," or "Two friends are chatting at the next table." Now comes the final stage, thinking in paragraphs. This means describing everything in more detail, telling a full story. Imagine you are visiting the Great Wall of China. You might describe it like this: "I am standing on the Great Wall, and the view is amazing. The mountains stretch out as far as I can see, and the wall winds its way through the landscape. Tourists around me are taking photos and walking. I hear different languages being spoken, and there is a cool breeze in the air. The steps are steep, and the stones are worn from centuries of use." Practicing this helps you think and speak in English without pausing to translate. For example, imagine you are in a market in Istanbul. You could think, "The market is busy. People are shopping and bargaining with vendors. The smell of spices fills the air, and the colors of the fabrics are bright. A man is selling tea, and tourists are taking photos. When you practice this daily, your brain will get used to thinking in full descriptions in English. It will feel natural, and you will be able to express your thoughts clearly. One more example. Imagine you're in a cozy cafe in Amsterdam. You could think, I am sitting by the window with my coffee. The cafe is warm, and soft music is playing. Outside, people are riding their bicycles along the canal. The sky is cloudy, and it looks like it might rain. Inside, a few people are reading books and a couple is quietly chatting. The smell of fresh bread fills the air, making the atmosphere calm and peaceful. By practicing these 4 stages, thinking in verbs, nouns, sentences, and paragraphs, you can train your brain to think directly in English. This will make speaking smoother and more natural. Why is thinking in English important? Because when you think in your native language, you must pause to translate, which slows down your speech. But when you practice thinking in English, you skip that step, and your thoughts come out fluently. This will make conversations, interviews, and presentations much easier. For instance, imagine you're at a job interview. The interviewer asks you to describe a challenge you faced at work. If you're thinking in your native language, you'll need to pause and translate. But if you're already used to thinking in English, you can respond smoothly and confidently. So, how can you practice this every day? Here are some tips. Spend 10 to 15 minutes each day observing your surroundings and describing them in English. Find a picture from a magazine or online and describe it in English. For example, if it's a beach photo, you could think, the sand is white, the water is clear, and people are swimming. Children are building sandcastles. Write a short journal entry in English every day. Describe what you did, where you went, and who you met. Talk to yourself in English. Pick a topic and talk about it for a few minutes. For example, describe your favorite movie, explain how to make a dish, or talk about your weekend plans. Set a timer for 5 minutes and commit to thinking only in English during that time. Gradually increase the time as you get better. Remember, learning to think in English is a journey. It takes time and practice, but the more you do it, the more natural it will become. Practice every day, even if just for a few minutes, and you will see improvement over time. Mistakes are normal, so don't be discouraged by them. Every mistake is a chance to learn. Are you ready to start thinking in English? Begin practicing today, and soon you will speak and think like a native English speaker. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our lessons. Keep practicing, stay curious, and I'll see you next time.